Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Best Forms of Magnesium for Stress and Sleep. I'm Liz McNamara and I'm the Sales and Business Development Manager for Australia and New Zealand for Balchem. I'm really happy to have you with us today. So we're joined by our Albion Minerals expert, Oliver Riemann, who will explore the latest trends in the magnesium category and share some of our science as well. By way of introduction, Oliver is a seasoned marketing and business development professional with a master's degree in business administration from Köln University, Germany. He currently leads the global strategy for the renowned Albion Minerals brand, where he drives market expansion and oversees the global marketing mix, and has over a decade of experience in global brand management and strategic positioning. Prior to this role, Oliver held various positions in sales and brand management across nutrition, pharmaceutical, and agricultural sectors. His responsibilities include expanding territory coverage in key markets such as the Middle East, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. In terms of what we're going to do today, I'm going to provide an introduction to Balchem and hand over to Oliver for the main presentation. And then at the end of the session, we'll have some time for some questions. So for the questions, you can submit these through the Q&A function or through the chat, and I'll try to keep up with them all. And any questions we don't have time for today, we will answer them by email. This webinar is being recorded and it will be available to view and we'll email it out shortly afterwards as well. So if you want to jump to the next slide and I'll make a start at introducing Balchem. So our vision is to make the world a healthier place, and how we do that is through building a global nutrition and health company that delivers trusted and science-based solutions to customers. If you jump to the next slide. So Balchem was founded in 1967 as a publicly listed company with a head office in New Jersey and has 3 divisions: human nutrition and health, animal nutrition, and specialty. And we have about 1,300 staff located around the world. Next slide, please. We make the world a healthier place through these high quality and well-researched ingredients that provide solutions across the lifespan. They include OptiMSM, which is pure support for joints, hair, skin, and nails. Albion Minerals, the most researched chelates with superior absorption and tolerability. Oliver's excited to share more today. VitaCholine, the most clinically studied choline for performance, liver health, and prenatal health. K2 Vital, our stable 99.7% all-trans vitamin K2 MK7, the bioactive form. And Optifolin Plus, our newest product, which is active folate bound to choline for stability and methylation advantage. So I'm really pleased to hand over to Oliver now, and I look forward to seeing you and your questions later on. Thanks, Oliver.
Thank you very much, Liz. So welcome everyone, wherever you're sitting in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I would like to introduce you to Albion Minerals, and I would also like to introduce you to the currently trending market opportunity in formulating sleep support supplements, especially with chelated magnesium, with magnesium bisglycinate. So let's quickly touch base what Albion Minerals is about. Albion Minerals is the original. Albion Minerals is the brand which originally developed the process of chelation for minerals in human nutrition. And that is what the brand is known for today. So Albion Minerals did all the groundwork and is recognized as the most clinically researched chelated minerals in the market. But not only the brand is an original, Albion Minerals is about the people behind the brand. And it's not only me as the brand manager who's going to present today, it's also about the people you probably don't see every day in your business contacts, but which are super important and very valuable so that you get at the end what Albion promises. And I would like to introduce you to some of these key persons behind the brand during our presentation. So all these people, all these ambassadors are also true originals. These are not models. These are the Balchem people which work for the Albion brand. And first, let me introduce you to Rob Tomeo. He's the number cruncher in our team. He's the market researcher responsible to unveil the latest trends where we try to fit in with our brand, where we are supporting you as a customer and for your finished formats to give you the best possible solutions to leverage the Albion minerals in the current market environment. And magnesium bisglycinate and also sleep support is one of these super high trends where currently is a lot of buzz in the market. So let's see what Rob found out. Sleep is very important. Obviously, everyone knows that, but also many fall short of good sleep. So giving you some numbers which relate to your region. For example, in Australia, approximately almost 40% of the adults experience not good sleep. In general, in Asia, or specifically in Malaysia, a study found out that almost 55% of the working adults get less than 7 hours of sleep per night. And sleep disruption in general is caused by 4 main factors. It's irregular sleep cycles, which primarily is if you're working in shifts, for example, but it's also stress, mental anxiety, mood, or just pain and muscle tension, which can prevent you from falling asleep, which prevents you from having a good and constant night's sleep. But why is sleep and good sleep and sleep quality so important? Because sleep has critical functions to make your body work and to feel well. And it's obviously about recharging. That is primarily that the night sleep allows the body to get new energy. It allows the body to recharge your cells. But it's also about restoring and it's about repairing. And especially repairing means that the the brain function and the brain structure needs to calm down after an exhausting day. And if you don't get enough, if you don't get good quality sleep, all these important body functions can't work well. And that causes fatigue at the next day, or even worse, it can affect your mood, it can affect your cognitive functions. So let's see how can we overcome this. The whole segment of mood and mental health in supplements is currently a large opportunity. In Asia Pacific alone, it accounts for roughly 1.8 billion sales opportunity for finished formats. Asia Pacific in total accounts for 23% of the whole global segment of sleep support. So just as a takeaway message, there is a momentum to invest into sleep support. And if you're a brand active in Asia Pacific, I think that's a great place to increase your activities in that field. On the one hand, your market accounts for almost 1/4 of the global segment. And if you look into the breakdown, you have very, very interesting countries, very interesting markets in your region, either from the market size, but more important, from the projected market growth. So obviously, China is a super big market, and especially for sleep support, it is well established and definitely a good place to go if you want to if you want to sell your product immediately. But even more interesting are countries like India or also Australia, countries which are already well established, but by far not at maturity in that segment and showing growth rates from over 7% CAGR until 2033. But as we want to talk also about magnesium and its role in sleep support, let's also have a look on how magnesium itself is currently positioned. So these are data from Innova database, and if we have a look where in which categories of supplements in general magnesium was growing the most, you see brain and mood health with a CAGR of 42%. You see insomnia with a CAGR of 69%. So these are really, really high growth fields where it makes sense to consider give magnesium a prominent and hero role in your supplement portfolio. What are the formats we're looking into? Primarily, obviously, capsules. Capsules still very interesting and one of the leading formats in the market with a growth rate of over 50%, but also powders and liquids are rising, and then obviously gummies as the trending format. And all these formats, as you will see also later, fit perfectly into the idea of sleep support. Capsules, obviously, I think that is no question, but liquids consider to make a kind of like a liquid magnesium nightcap, which you can drink as a shot before you go to bed, or you have a sleep powder, sleep support powder, which you can pour into your tea before going to bed, or just a nice little gummy. If we primarily look into magnesium bisglycinate is, I would say, the fastest growing mineral form in the market currently. So if you look into global product launches and its growth rate in Innova database, you can see within the last 5 years, the general supplement market new product launches grew by 3%. If we then look into the magnesium segment, so magnesium specifically, no matter which form it is, outperformed the total supplement market already very well with over 7% CAGR over the last 5 years. But then if you look specifically into magnesium bisglycinate, you see what happened and why this is such a trending ingredient. The growth rate of new product launches for magnesium bisglycinate supplement over the last 5 years grew by 35% per year. And if we have a look what ingredients are the heroes within the sleep support, then obviously melatonin is still the star. So if we look into the breakdown, which are the top 6 healthy sleep supplement ingredients 2024 evaluated by NBJ, you see melatonin is with almost 60% market share, the biggest portion. But magnesium is catching up. And what's even more important is that if you compare the growth rates, the healthy sleep supplements which are containing magnesium grew by 24% last year. And in comparison, the hero ingredient melatonin grew only at 2.5%. So of course, the melatonin market is huge, but it's also quite mature, while with magnesium, you are facing currently the opportunity to catch the wave of growth and to outperform the growth rates of the other ingredients by far. Let me introduce you to another Albion ambassador. That is Eric Capio. He's our senior science manager, and he stands for the claim we write science, others just quoted, because Albion is famous for investing into own clinical research. What I've told you during our introduction, Albion Minerals is recognized as the most clinically researched bisglycinate chelates in the market. And we obviously we want to substantiate for you that magnesium bisglycinate is not just a market trend, but really has a scientifically validated benefit for sleep support. So let's look into the sleep support products we have spoken of. And then obviously, as I said, melatonin comes to our mind. So what does melatonin do for you? And melatonin primarily is the body's hormone to regulate the cycle, which dictates when your body should be awake and when it should be asleep. It's obviously the most established ingredient in the sleep support supplement market. And clinical trials have found that melatonin can reduce the time it takes to fall asleep, and it also improves the ability to stay asleep and increases your total sleep time. But it also came out that melatonin primarily only addresses the cause of sleep disruption. So it is primarily recommended for the people who have irregular sleep cycles, which are suffering from jet lags or which are night shift workers and have to make sure that they can fall asleep also during the day. It doesn't affect the other causes for sleep problems. We have spoken of stress, anxiety, pain, or muscle tension. So the key takeaway is that melatonin already plays a very important role in sleep support, but it doesn't address the topic from a comprehensive level. So consumers should get access to a broader, more comprehensive solution. So have a look on what can magnesium do for you. And magnesium primarily can promote mood and muscle relaxation. Magnesium is well known for its ability to relax the skeleton and smoothing the muscles. And it also activates the parasympathetic nervous system, blocking NMDA receptors and activating GABA receptors, adding to its calming effects and making it a natural sleep aid especially for those who have an overacting mind, who are the thinkers in the world and can't relax their brain before going to sleep. Also here, studies have found that magnesium has the ability to improve sleep quality and also can increase the cortisol levels and natural melatonin levels in your body. So it also is adding further sleep support functions. Magnesium specifically has the ability to help your cells to relax because as you might know, magnesium has critical roles in over 300 body functions. And one function is that if you're active, if your body is active, if your cells are active, for example, being in exercises, sports, your muscles are contracting. Then, for example, calcium enters your cell as a kind of fuel. It fuels your cells, it helps them to be active, and it's like switching your cells on. But at the same time, if you want to calm down, magnesium can help to stop that. Magnesium acts as a kind of calcium channel blocker to the cells. It enters the cell and blocks further magnesium to come into the cells. So it's like switching off the cells and helps your body to relax. And then we come across another ingredient which has a relevant in sleep support, and it's an amino acid. It's glycine, which also shows certain benefits to improve your sleep. Glycine primarily can help to reduce your core body temperature, which is for the body naturally a sign to start the sleep cycle. And it further has certain functions in mood regulation and sleep preparation. So considering that we've learned that melatonin is interesting to give you benefits, especially if you're suffering from irregular sleep cycles, we also looked into the functions which magnesium can bring and also in the functions which glycine can bring. So wouldn't it be a good idea to have something which brings both together in one ingredient? And that is exactly what a chelated mineral, what magnesium bisglycinate does. And if we bring that ingredient into sleep support, you really can leverage both. You can leverage the metal, the magnesium, but you also can leverage the ligand, the glycine, which, as you see here in the molecular structure, nicely wraps around the magnesium, forming a very stable and highly absorbable molecule. A chelated mineral like magnesium bisglycinate is up to 3 times better absorbed by the human body compared to inorganic salts like magnesium oxide or magnesium citrate. And it clinically shows that it minimizes any GI distress and improving the tolerance, reducing stomach upset. So as I've already said, we are always looking into the science and really what are the benefits behind these products. So clinical study showed on magnesium supplementation benefits on insomnia, and that is a double-blind randomized placebo-controlled clinical trial which shows that magnesium supplementation before going to bed improves improves on sleep benefit endpoints on all levels significantly. So magnesium can improve your overall sleep time, it improves your sleep quality, and it improves the total time on sleep. There's a similar study for glycine, which also showed in a randomized single-blind crossover trial that glycine improving the subjective sleep quality and efficiency, and also helps the participants in that study that they are feeling less fatigue during the daytime and even improving their memory performance during the day after a good night's sleep. So again, why chelated minerals? As I've already said, this specific molecular structure enhances very much the absorption of magnesium in the human body and is a mineral form which is more tolerant. And one of the reasons why this why Albion Minerals originally came up with the idea of chelation is that the founder of Albion Minerals, Harvey Ashmead, found out that delivering minerals in an organic structure is the way how nature intended to provide and to utilize minerals in the human body. And if we look at two natural delivery systems, natural mineral forms, for example, hemoglobin or chlorophyll, you see the molecular structures in the right corner of that slide. You can see that it follows the same idea. You have a metal, in that case also magnesium or iron, in the middle of the structure, and it is completely wrapped by organic materials, by acids, which make these metals for the body more better tolerable, but it can be much better utilized. And that is the same idea of chelation, just that our molecular structure doesn't look that fancy as hemoglobin or as chlorophyll does, but it follows the same logic. You have an amino acid wrapping around the magnesium to enhance the utilization. So if we specifically look into the scientific validation and scientific rationale for magnesium bisglycinate, we have specifically own clinical studies on our Albion magnesium bisglycinate, which demonstrates the superior absorption. So that is, for example, a clinical trial randomized crossover where the magnesium chelate, the magnesium bisglycinate, was compared to magnesium oxide and measuring the serum magnesium. And it shows that magnesium bisglycinate increases the serum magnesium concentration in the body significantly faster and keeps the level higher for a longer period of time. And both obviously is interesting and important for sleep support, because imagine you're taking your magnesium supplement maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour before going to sleep. Obviously, you want to benefit from the high magnesium levels in your body, which should already start calming you down, that you can fall asleep better. But you also want to keep that higher magnesium levels in your body to make sure that the sleep quality and sleep time will last for the whole night. And that is what magnesium bisglycinate can deliver much better than inorganic salts. We are also on a regular basis doing in vitro trials, KQ2 cell trials, to compare the general bioavailability, the general absorption of different mineral forms in a standardized and controlled environment against each other. And also here we have data which proves that the chelated form of magnesium, the bisglycinate, has a much better absorption rate, a much better availability compared to, for example, magnesium citrate or magnesium oxide. And as I also said, we are not only testing for absorption or tolerance, we also conducting clinical trials on specific health benefit endpoints. So this is also an independent peer-reviewed publication, which was done with Albion Minerals magnesium bisglycinate to show that our magnesium bisglycinate significantly reduces leg cramps. And if you remember, our 4 main causes of irregular sleep or of sleep problems. One of them was muscle tension, cramps, and pain. So also here we have a clinical trial which shows you that magnesium bisglycinate significantly can reduce leg cramps, can reduce pain scores, and even has a substantial part of the participants in that study which had no leg cramps at all after getting magnesium bisglycinate. So these are the science behind. Now let's go back to the commercial part and let's have a look. What can you do? How can you leverage magnesium bisglycinate? How can you leverage the science behind? How can the perfect sleep support product look for you and your brand? So introducing you to another brand ambassador of Albion Minerals, that is Teresa Sequest. Teresa Sequest is one of our senior sales managers in the US, and she is a 7 times Ironman finisher. So she really knows what she's talking about when we are talking about muscle pain, when we're talking about leg cramps, or if we are talking about having a good sleep at night to be fit for the next day. So that is how magnesium bisglycinate is currently perceived in the market, especially on social media. So if you open your TikTok and looking for magnesium bisglycinate, you will find over over a billion hits. You have so many influencers touting the benefits of magnesium bisglycinate in sleep support. So if you're just reading here the taglines, why magnesium glycinate is recommended for sleep, vivid dreams on magnesium glycinate, my brain as soon as I pop my magnesium glycinate before bed every day. And even the recognized media outlets, for example, here Los Angeles Times, took up that topic. So one of the headlines from last year, "Wake Up Baby is a new cure inside TikTok's magnesium craze." So that is how the market currently perceives magnesium bisglycinate. And as I always say, never fight the market. So if the market considers magnesium bisglycinate as the perfect sleep support mineral, why don't giving it? And so to inspire our customers a bit and also to make or to gain own knowledge how this idea can be transformed into supplements and how does it resonate with the market. We created a concept. The concept is called Relax Away, and it is a magnesium bisglycinate powder, which you can pour into water or which you also can pour into a hot tea as a nightcap before you go to sleep. And obviously, we wanted to know if that is something which also resonates with the consumers at the end. So we started an own market research with a platform called Qualtrics, and we designed the Relax Away not just as a white label product. We designed it as a branded concept under the Doctor's Best brand, which is one of our mineral customers for Albion. So here you see what consumers saw on Qualtrics, and they should compare one of the most prominent and best-selling chamomile tea brands against the new Dr. Best Relax Away magnesium bisglycinate powder. And just to give you an overview, that was a market research with over 160 participants. The group was chosen to have experience with purchasing vitamins and supplements. And we also asked if they have difficulties with falling asleep. And just to take away the thunder a little bit, but we will go into the details. The key top-line findings are that the beverage sachet performed as well as the leading brand for the tea, which is already a great success because imagine this is just a concept. none of these consumers has ever seen the Dr. Best Relax Away because it was just created for market research. So if we look into the data, so here we see a heat map which shows you or which proves what was interesting from a visual standpoint for the consumers who are reading through the product description. And if you see where the heat map turns red, and I hope you can still realize the words behind, you can see what was the most what gained the most attention obviously was the product itself. And also here the darkest red area of the product design was the name Relax Away and the ingredient magnesium bisglycinate. So by the way, that was, if you're not familiar with it, that is measured by eye movement. So the process is that the participants of the study look to the advertisement, read the product description, and tracker records the eye movement and can analyze where consumers are stopping with their eyes, what drives their attention. So again, the dark red areas is where the most attention where the most attention happened. And again, Relax Away, magnesium bisglycinate, these are the ones where the eyes stopped. But also in the text, you see a very, very dark red area over the word muscle relaxing and over the word mind calming, and also it won't upset. So these are the key benefits of magnesium bisglycinate and are also the benefits and the promises which resonated the most with the consumers in that concept. Looking into the data, as I already told you, that the Dr. Best Relax Away concept performed on equal with the control, with the really existing chamomile tea brand. Yeah, so if you have a look at the numbers of the purchase interest, the total outcome was a bit stronger for the tea than it was for the relax away concept, but it was almost on parity, and there is no significant difference between control and concept on purchase interest. As I said, that is already a great success given that that product is not existing in real life and none of the participants have ever seen it. But, and that's very interesting, as you remember, we also asked for we also asked the participants in that survey about their sufferings to fall asleep. And if we cut out the part of the participants which are the ones which are suffering the most from bad sleep, then you see that the purchase interest getting significantly and much higher for the relax away concept, which tells you if people are really going to a drugstore and looking for a sleep support supplement because they are suffering, because they want to solve an issue, they want to feel improvement, then sleep supplements, and in that case, especially the Relax Away magnesium bisglycinate promise, outperforms the common chamomile tea. It also scores better on the perception of scientific research. So also here, consumers say that they feel that the Relax Away concept has a more substantiated scientific research. And just as an appealing factor, what they like about the concept is that they can mix it into their favorite beverage. So whatever they prefer to drink before going to bed, the Relax Away concept fits into it. As I said, the chamomile tea and the Dr. Best concept performed almost or quite equally on purchase interest. What's really interesting is that more than half of the participants of that survey said that they definitely would buy the relax away concept in addition to the tea. So that means that a magnesium bisglycinate sleep support product can gain a significant additional value, and you can leverage an additional new non-existing market potential for your brand among the customers who are already interested in that segment. For example, if they are buying tea. So how does it look like? Just to give you an overview, no matter what your brand does, no matter what your preferred dose form, no matter where you would like to look into, capsules, stick packs, liquids, that is what we currently see in the market. No matter if you are making it a straight, pure hero ingredient, or if you are combining it with melatonin or with GABA. All works, and the market adopts the perception, which I've shown you from social media. And what you're seeing here is all made with the original, that is made with Albion Minerals. You see a magnesium sleep matrix, which is a product which combines magnesium bisglycinate, melatonin, and GABA. As I already said, Doctor's Best is one of our customers. They have the woman's beauty sleep product, which is relying on magnesium. We have CanPref and Orange, which launched magnesium bisglycinate products for sleep, also here combined with melatonin and GABA. But you also see that the product fits into liquid shots, it fits into beverages, it fits into gummies. And last but not least, I would like to introduce you to Stephen Ashmead. He is the ambassador for our founder story, for the original, because Albion Minerals was founded 1956 by Harvey Ashmead. Harvey Ashmead was the one who invented the process of chelation, who created the first chelated minerals for human nutrition, who gained all the patents around chelation, and he was the one who made Albion, who brought Albion as a brand to the point where we are today. And as you might or as you might have heard the similarity of names, that is Stephen Ashmead. Stephen Ashmead is the original grandson of Harvey Ashmead, and he is still part of Balchem. He is still a member of the Albion family, and we are very proud that we really can claim that Albion Minerals Balchem is a founder, in fact, and an inventor of this specific and great mineral. So what does Albion Minerals and Balchem offer you to actually participate in these trend and in these product categories? As you know, especially when you're from Australia, New Zealand, we have the Metamac brand tied to Albion Minerals. So you can do ingredient branding with our product name on the label, and it is your opportunity to use Metamac in your formulation. Albion Minerals, by the way, is the only primary producer who manufactures its products in 2 countries. Obviously, Balchem is a US-based company, and so is Albion Minerals. Our main production is in Utah, but we recently opened a second production in Canada, which provides you more flexibility, more supply reliability, and maybe also just remember in times of uncertainty where you never exactly know how supply chains and how the situation with tariffs between different countries might evolve. With Albion Minerals, you know that the product can either come from the US, but it also can come from Canada. If we look into the SKUs, we have our standard magnesium bisglycinate MetaMag, which brings you a minimum of 10% elemental magnesium in a fully chelated form. But we also are currently launching a new product, which we call the MetaMag Enhanced, and the MetaMag Enhanced will bring a minimum elemental magnesium of 11.7% and beyond. And this is going to be available around January next year in Australia and New Zealand. And yeah, if you're considering that, I highly recommend to already get in touch with Liz McNamara, our sales manager, to get this set up, because this product is going to be a perfect match if you want to go into capsules, if you want to go into tablets. It's a pure, fully clean label product, fully reacted magnesium bisglycinate, no reaction additives in the product, no silica. So it's really only magnesium bisglycinate in the currently highest elemental magnesium which Albion Minerals offers. So last but not least, my takeaway for you and my call to action: keep calm and take MetaMag, Albion's magnesium bisglycinate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oliver. That was really, really great. We had a couple of questions that I wanted to cover that came in prior to the webinar, and then we've got a couple in the Q&A. So the question is, how is your 10 to 12% elemental magnesium different to a magnesium glycinate that says it has a 20% elemental content?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I try to answer that easy and quickly, because the short answer is a pure magnesium bisglycinate, fully reacted, as I said, clean label, which just contains the molecular structure of magnesium bisglycinate, is just impossible by the laws of nature to have it on 20%. The reason behind is if you're adding up the molecular weight of the of glycine and of the structure, like 2 to 1, which means you have 2 parts of glycine bound to 1 part of magnesium. And if you're adding up the molecular weight of the single pieces, just by the laws of chemistry, you never can go beyond roughly 14% elemental magnesium. And that is even just theory, because obviously you always have variances in your production process. You never can guarantee what's theoretical possible when you're calculating a molecule on paper. So 20% is just impossible. And as I said, if we are guaranteeing 11.7%, that is obviously the guaranteed minimum. So the last batch analysis I have seen for magnesium bisglycinate enhanced, for the MetaMag enhanced, was over 12.7, so almost 13% elemental magnesium, which is I would say almost really at the edge of what you can get out of the product. So if you're getting offered magnesium bisglycinate products which are at 14%, or maybe even go beyond 14%, up to 20%, be suspicious. It might be not what you want to have, because probably that product is mixed with magnesium oxide or whatever.
Yeah, more likely a blend, right? So then you're not
Yeah,
getting the bioavailability and tolerability benefits of the chelate. Very good.
exactly.
And of course, every batch of Albion is verified, right? And that was actually the next question that came in. So I've
Exactly.
leapt ahead.
Yeah, so exactly. So if you're a bit familiar with Albion, or you might have heard of TRACS. TRACS is our quality seal. It stands for the Real Amino Acid Chelate System. And TRACS was developed 2003 by Albion Minerals, and back in the days also was patented. TRACS is the proprietary process of Albion Minerals to validate chelation. And the chelate structure is validated and verified by several analytic processes, and it leads to a specific monograph, which for our Albion mineral product. And that monograph is used to test each and every batch which leaves our production by FTIR analysis, making sure that every batch, every magnesium bisglycinate from Albion looks the same, remains a fully chelated product, and does not contain any unreacted material.
Perfect. Okay, so we've got some questions in the Q&A and in the chat. The first one is a bit more about market insights. So looking to see if we have any insights or comparisons to other ingredients for sleep outside of tea that might be emerging globally. For example, is Rob, for example, or Albion looking at GABA, L-theanine, ashwagandha, compared to magnesium in that sleep category, and why magnesium's different, complementary, or superior. So I guess
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
you get what I'm reading.
yeah, I can give a quick answer to that. Obviously, as I said, maybe we can also dig more into it with our experts. But I can tell you that we are actively looking into that. And to be honest, I can't really tell you if magnesium bisglycinate is better than GABA or than melatonin. I would just say it's different, and it's always a question of positioning. And I also wanted to make sure. I hope that was understandable. I don't see magnesium bisglycinate as a competitor to melatonin. It can be, of course, because there is a big community or a big consumer target group out there which don't want to take melatonin. Yeah, melatonin can have proven benefits, but it also might have side effects, or people who just don't want to take melatonin. And for these people, magnesium bisglycinate can be a wonderful alternative. But at the same time, as we looked into, it also can be supplements to each other. So as you have seen in the market products, many brands believe in both, and they combine GABA, they combine melatonin, they combine Albion magnesium bisglycinate to a great sleep formula. And it can be the same with ashwagandha maybe. And just to give you an understanding, we are currently setting up a new clinical trial. Unfortunately, we are right now in the phase of setting up the protocol. So results are unfortunately expected probably mid of next year. But we are setting up a new clinical where we specifically going with Albion Metamac into a sleep study to show and to get data in humans to see how our magnesium bisglycinate can improve sleep quality, sleep time, all these things. And then we will also have more substantiated data where we can compare to these things, where we can compare to melatonin or to GABA or whatever, and can answer these questions probably even more substantiated than we can today.
Great, that's exciting to know. And I will reach out to Rob and see what data he has on the category as well. Maybe one final question about formulating, and then the rest of the questions we can answer by email. And just to reassure the people that would like the presentation, we will absolutely be sending out the presentation and the recording in the next couple of days, so keep an eye out for that. So question is, if you're formulating it as a gummy or a ready to drink, does it give a metallic taste?
My experience is no, it does not. So you have seen some of the product concepts on that one slide, and as you remember, there was one small shot bottle which was a full RDI of, I think, 380 milligram magnesium, elemental magnesium, completely given with Albion magnesium bisglycinate with our 10% standard product into a liquid form. Obviously, that product also has a nice flavor profile. I think it was orange or cherry flavor. And our magnesium bisglycinate fits very well into this taste profile, into that concept, without making any taste issues. You also have seen a high absorption magnesium bisglycinate gummy. Also, that gummy obviously has a good flavor profile. I think it was something like dark berry or something. And also here, the 10% MetaMag product fits into that flavor profile without causing any issues. If you're formulating with a really, let's say, challenging format where you maybe don't have strong flavors which can help you, where the product is quite pure, or where you don't have a good base to dilute it, then we have a fallback position. Albion Minerals also offers a magnesium bisglycinate taste-free version, but you have to consider to make that product taste-free. We had to lower the magnesium concentration, so the magnesium bisglycinate taste-free only comes with 8% elemental magnesium. But the benefit of the taste-free version is you really can eat it pure. So I have it here at home and tried it myself. You just can take a spoon and put it into your mouth, and it doesn't give you any bad mouthfeel. So that is your fallback position. But my recommendation is always try out the straight product, the 10% or the enhanced product first, because I would say in 90% of the cases it works well.
Okay, that is all the questions we have time for. I just I see all the rest of the questions in the chat, and I will make sure that we answer them via the email. So it's great that there's so much interest. I wanted to let everybody know that our next webinar is the 4th of September, and we will be discussing different ingredients in order to give kids a head start through nutrition. So look out for the email to register for that. The Balchem team will have a booth at VitaFoods Asia, and Oliver and myself will be there, as will the rest of the APAC team. So we're in booth K31. We would absolutely love to see you. We will be focusing on our premier ingredients. And I just would like to thank Oliver and thank everybody who has registered in attendance. Really appreciate the time that you've spent with us learning about our magnesium. And if you have any follow-up questions, please get in touch with your Balchem sales manager. And I'm going to end the event now. I wish you all a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.